As Blue and Goku train atop the lookout, the other Z-Fighters go their separate ways. Tien and Chaozu go off into the mountains, Yamcha and Krillin stay at Kame House, and while Nam wishes to train with the Turtle Hermit, he has to return to his village. However, all is not lost, as the brief training he had received from Korin allows him to find the elusive roaming lake. Once Nam secured water for the village, he travels to Korin's tower, having become friends with Appa and Bora, and requests to train with Whiskers and Wondercat. 3 years come and go, with Goku and Blue growing far stronger, preparing for the evil that was Piccolo Jr. and Violo. The two were far calmer than they were prior, where they had previously been eager to end the lives of those so-called demons. They now knew the value of mercy, something Blue had to be reminded of. However, where Goku was pure of heart, Blue was a little less so, though Kami had personally helped the young man grow and harness both the yin and yang of his soul. Once the World Tournament rolls around, the whole crew meet up, including Nam, who's now competing for the Zeni in order to further improve his village. Now with all these added fighters, we'll say that Kami has faith in his students, and so chooses to simply watch from afar. Blue will be replacing Hero, while Nam replaces Yamcha of all people. The fight between the two was intense and incredibly close, requiring them to give their all in order to win. This helps with Yamcha's pride since he isn't losing to some random nerdy guy. Instead, he lost to someone who was an experienced martial artist and friend. Now the quarterfinals goes about how you'd expect. Goku and Blue are amazed that Tao managed to survive, and even more amazed when Tien knocks the cyborg out in one hit, being quite impressed at their friend's strength and discipline. While Blue did have some things he wanted to say to the cyborg, he felt that Tien said it better. Goku and Chi-Chi have their battle, and while I think Blue may have mentioned marriage to the Saiyan, it's still a foreign concept to him. Nonetheless, the two decide to get married, and especially since Chi-Chi was by far the strongest woman Goku's ever fought. Now, here's where an interesting change occurs. Piccolo and Krillin's fight goes as it usually does. However, even the Krill dog can tell that Junior isn't hitting quite as hard as he should be. The Namekian seems a little conflicted about this fight, as if something is stopping him from going all out. "What's the matter? Are you holding back just because I'm a human or something?" Krillin begins to charge up a Kamehameha, looking straight up towards Piccolo, his body too injured to endure anything else. "That's part of the reason, yes, but you're slow and weak, unlike some of the others here. And don't even think about beating me. You're nowhere near as strong as my older brother." Just as Krillin was about to launch his blast, Piccolo appeared in front of him, planting a fist directly into the monk's stomach. Krillin is knocked out, and the Namekian looks towards Goku and Blue, then somewhere else, as if looking at another person that neither the Saiyan nor the Psychic could see. Blue figured Violo must be somewhere nearby, but he doesn't have much time to think about it since his match with Nam is next. This fight is pretty fun and friendly, though Nam can tell. The difference between the two is vast, something the villager would find impossible to close. However, he'd go all out, giving the person who once saved him the respect they deserved. Nam pulls out his ultimate move, something he and Korin had been working on for the past year. He sets up the cross-arm dive as per usual, falling from high up in the sky towards Blue, who puts up a blue-colored psychic shield. Shortly before Nam makes contact, he fires a massive ki blast from his feet, then twisting in the air and kicking from the side, bypassing Blue's shield. The attack lands and even draws a little blood from the ex-general, though he only smiles as a skeletal, ethereal orange hand appears and grabs onto Nam, throwing him out of the ring. Blue then apologizes if he was too rough, though explains that if Nam was going to show off a new move, then so should he. Nam questions just what that was, but Blue says just to watch, before helping his friend up, the two walking back towards the stands. Goku goes on to beat Tien, and then we get Blue versus Piccolo. As soon as the bell rings, Blue summons a skeletal hand in order to grab the Namekian, who then uses his stretchy arms to attack and harass Blue himself. Piccolo is crushed within the hand, but at the same time, Blue takes a nasty ki blast to the face, leaving a burn mark on his otherwise pretty visage. The two are forced to abandon their respective attacks, both pulling back to recuperate. The ex-general got too caught up in his attack and didn't prepare to be countered, and so would have to use even more power next time. He didn't exactly want to, since Violo, Tambourine, and Cymbal could attack at any moment. However, as long as Goku is still fresh, then they should be fine. Besides, Kami could jump in and defeat anyone else, as long as Piccolo stayed alive. You're stronger than I anticipated, Piccolo. I hope you'll be strong enough to survive this. Blue dropped any thought of defending himself, instead focusing all his psychic energy into an absolutely giant red hand that floated above their heads. Looks like you don't know a thing about my kind. Piccolo smirked as the hand descended upon the two. Luckily, Blue could phase through the attack since it was his own energy. As for the Namekian, well, he decided it was either time to go big or go home. Using his giant form, Piccolo manages to grab onto the ethereal hand and starts pushing it back up into the sky, using a mouth beam to destroy it. He then swipes at Blue, who'd been floating in the sky. The ex-general's aura goes from red to blue as a skeletal ribcage forms around his body, protecting him from the brunt of the attack, though he's still knocked out of the ring and nearly hits the grass, only barely gaining control and stopping inches above it. But Piccolo isn't wasting time, already firing off a chasing bullet at Blue. The psychic flees, and once noticing the blast chasing him, decides to fly right towards his opponent. Piccolo, of course, tries to stomp on the psychic, only for a skeletal hand to uppercut him, drawing his attention away just long enough to not notice the blast coming straight for his face. Blue had flown up into the sky, going right past Piccolo's face before he went to look back down, his chin coming into contact with the blast and causing some massive damage to his jaw. The Namekian is forced to rip off what little remained, regrowing it and staring Blue down. With the giant form draining his stamina and seemingly doing him no favors, the demon chooses to revert into his base form. Blue charges in, but Piccolo once again launches a beam from his mouth, this one far more concentrated and powerful. The psychic initially wants to dodge and could easily do so, but then realizes that anyone in the stands would be vaporized. Without skipping a beat, Blue summons an ethereal ribcage, tanking the blast, putting both arms up to further reinforce with a shield. Once the smoke clears, the ex-general is revealed without his summon, and he's looking a little worse for wear. He's panting and injured, but still able to stay in the fight. Piccolo too isn't exactly at 100%, being winded from the use of such a strong attack and from the earlier regeneration. The tiles on the ring begin to fly towards Piccolo, who destroys each and every one of them. Though when his own tiles start moving towards the edge of the ring, he's forced to fly. However, an invisible force pushes the Namekian towards the ground just as another tile slams into his chest. Piccolo begins falling towards the grass, but uses his stretchy arms once more, grabbing onto Blue in order to anchor himself onto the edge of the ring. Seeing how close he is to victory, Blue flies directly at his opponent, sticking a fist out towards Piccolo and striking him right across the jaw. The two fly out of the ring, though because the Namekian hits it first, he's declared the loser. The crowd cheers as Nam approaches and gives Blue a senzu. Piccolo, though, is the first one to speak.
That was a good fight. Maybe you could defeat Violo.
You almost sound like you want him to be defeated. Blue requests another senzu, though doesn't give it to Piccolo right away, instead intent on hearing his answer.
I do. Unlike Tambourine or Piano, he's pure evil. He's jealous of my power, of how the others constantly praised me. I ran away to prove I could overcome you humans, something he never could. But it looks like I'll perish just like my father. So go ahead, end me. Just promise you'll defeat Piccolo and save my family from him.
The look in Piccolo's eyes, he seemed adamant about defeating his older brother, about his family. Blue knew how that felt, how he had made friends with the Zfighters and then someone came along intent on hurting them, and how Blue would do anything to prevent that. He was still unsure if Piccolo could be trusted, but he threw the Namekian to Senzu. Defeat him yourself, grow strong enough to protect your family. Just make sure they never try and hurt someone else's again. Piccolo and the onlookers are left in total shock as Blue simply walks away, eager to face his old friend. Piccolo, instead of flying off, also stays behind to watch the fight, the clash of the Titans. Goku and Blue step into the ring, and a massive battle, every bit as intense as Piccolo's last fight, takes place. Since the two fighters know each other so well, they're able to counter and then re-counter every blow. Blue summons his ethereal hands to aid in the battle, though Goku is able to dodge every brief but quick attack. Luckily, Blue still hasn't mastered the ability quite yet, so his attacks were simple and easy to read, meaning while he's focused on using them, he's open for an attack as well. However, as Goku lands a few combos on Blue, an ethereal hand appears from beneath the ring, inspired by Yamcha's Spirit Ball, which grabs onto Goku and begins crushing him. With a powerful Ki, the Saiyan manages to escape, though several Ki blasts then chase him down. Goku tries to pull the same maneuver Blue did with Piccolo, though the Psychic is fast enough to get in Goku's way and begins throwing hands. The Saiyan is forced between a rock and a hard place, and attempts to fly, but is stopped by an ethereal hand around his neck, forcing him to tank the bullets. The attack injures Goku, but the Saiyan made sure he was just close enough to allow Blue to take some damage as well. Without missing a beat, the two begin a brief exchange of fists, where the younger of the two comes out on top, landing a brutal punch to Blue's gut. The Psychic isn't surprised, as Goku was always more talented in hand-to-hand combat, but that wasn't the end-all be-all. Goku attempts to follow up with another series of blows, but is blocked by a ribcage, which he easily dispels with another Ki, only to have another red hand attack from behind. Blue's red color aura does hint at an oncoming attack, but the Saiyan isn't able to dodge in time. The hand pushed Goku's head into Blue's knee, causing a pretty nasty nosebleed. Blue then puts some distance between the two, his aura flashing between blue and red as he prepares to try something he'd never done successfully before. Flying high into the air, with Goku following suit, the Psychic splits his aura once more, completely separating yin and yang, charging two Ki spheres in each hand, one red and one blue. Now, this may have devastating effects, Goku. I hope you know what you're doing. The ex-general watched as Goku charged up a Super Kamehameha, ready to confront whatever this attack would be. Blue combined the two spheres together, a vortex forming within his hands as a ball of chaotic, spiraling energy appeared. Electricity arced off of the sphere, even hitting Blue and slightly damaging his hands and arms. This attack had no limits, nothing holding it back. It was a force of pure destruction. This was Blue's Null Lance. He thrust his hands forward, launching the beam of purple energy right towards Goku. The Kamehameha clashes with said beam, the volatility of the Null Lance causing a massive explosion in the middle, something that blows the two fighters back. Blue and Goku begin free-falling, but that took every ounce of energy from Blue, especially to temper the explosion it caused. This means that, unlike Goku, the ex-general can't recover and fly, meaning he's headed right for the ground. Before he completely face plants into the grass, Goku grabs a Psychic and gently sits him down. Goku is declared the winner, but he too is winded. Nam is about to beam up the two, but right as he tosses the last Senzu, two beams fly in, destroying them mid-air. Both Goku and Blue look over to see Piccolo, grinning ear to ear as he holds piano in one hand, the pterodactyl apologizing for revealing Piccolo's location. But that is where we'll be leaving things off for right now. If you guys enjoyed this video, then maybe you'd enjoy some of my other content. Anyways, you guys have a good day or night wherever you are. That's it for now. Bye-bye.